Okay, so today being Batwoman Day, which is Wednesday, June the 21st, so I just look over some of the old Batwoman trades I have here. First one up is Batwoman Elegy, the deluxe edition. It's a hardcover, written by Greg Rucka and art by J.H. Williams III. And this covers Detective Comics 854 to 860, which is the original run or the original run of Batwoman stories, solo stories. It does not include the 3 issues that Jock did the art for, but there is a new trade out now that does collect those issues. It has an introduction by Rachel Maddow, not sure how you pronounce that. Some fantastic artwork here by J.H. Williams III, as you can see. It collects the 4-issue Elegy storyline and a 3-part Go storyline, which is the origin story, a revised origin story, I think, of Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, and her journey from soldier after being kicked out from West Point to becoming Batwoman. There is some bonus material in here. Some of the concept designs by J.H. Williams III. He changed her utility belt and boots for this series, basically to make her more practical. A few script pages there from Rucka. Give me some information as to how the series was worked out. The next one up is Batwoman Volume 1 Hydrology. This is from her first series, not the current one that's out now. And this was written by J.H. Williams III, and he did the artwork, with co-writing by William Hayden Blackman. This collects the first 5 issues, I believe, of the original Batwoman series. And the number 0 issue as well. The first number 0 issue, there were actually 2 during that series. But as you can see, there's some great artwork by J.H. Williams III. And it basically, the story details the Whipping Woman, who was, like, aside from Alice, was Batwoman's first major adversary. And look at the artwork on that. And introduces this storyline about the Whipping Woman stealing children from Gotham City. Now this storyline wouldn't get resolved until the 3rd volume of the series, or the 3rd volume of trades, I should say. The Whipping Woman plot does get wrapped up kind of in this, but again, it's a storyline that progresses through the next 2 volumes of the trades. And again, a little bit of script pages and artwork from Williams here. Still a pretty good trade. I think it's my favorite run of her original series, mainly for the artwork, and I think because the story actually does work so well. It does not work so well in the 2nd volume, To Drown the World, which is kind of a mess in my opinion. It goes back and forth between timelines, past, present. And reading it in monthlies, it was very distracting and very confusing. It didn't help that they switched artists about halfway through the storyline. It started it with art by Amy Reeder, and about halfway through they switched it to a different artist. But Amy Reeder stuff was pretty good. Look at that. But again, basically dealing with the missing children storyline and double crosses, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, Trevor McCarthy was the artist for the remaining issues on this. I think he did another arc under Williams and Blackman. Wasn't really a fan of his artwork, but it's suffice, I guess. A few script pages here again for bonus material. but it wasn't really the best storyline. It was, like I said, confusing because it kept jumping around through timelines. Or not timelines, sorry, but the past and present. The third part of this storyline, World's Finest, teams Batwoman up with Wonder Woman. And it actually does get back on track, which is nice. And Williams does return for the artwork again. And does collect the number 0, or the second number 0 issue, I believe, here. But it has basically Batwoman and Wonder Woman teaming up to fight the Mother of Monsters and save the children. And this is the storyline where Batwoman proposes to Maggie Sawyer, who was her then girlfriend. Marry me, Megs. I don't know if you can see that. But of course, DC wasn't happy with that development, and so towards the end of the 4th volume, which collects issues number 18 to 24, Williams and Blackman actually left the series because they weren't, DC editorial wouldn't let them marry Kate Kane and Maggie Sawyer. And this storyline brings back Alice, who is the, well, let's just say the evil twin sister of Batwoman, who had been thought dead for a few years. And you can see there's some different artwork in this as well. That every second storyline under Williams and Blackman, they changed artists. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it ends on a cliffhanger because, like I said, this issue ends at issue number 24. They had planned to do issue number 25. I think almost as like a double-sized issue with Kate and Maggie getting married and then wrapping up the Batman versus Batwoman fight that begins here, but they never did get around to it. It had to be finished up by Mark Andreyko, who took over the series after they left. They quit the book. And unfortunately, we never did get to see how Williams and Blackman would have ended their storylines. Andreyko takes over with Volume 5, with art by Jeremy Haun and Trevor McCarthy. It was controversial to say the least, not because of the because Williams and Blackman left the book, but also because Andreyko introduced, or reintroduced, I should say, a character called Nocturna, who was a vampire. That there's Hawkfire, which is Batwoman's cousin / sidekick. But Nocturna became a controversial character in her own right because she basically ended up raping Batwoman, and that caused a lot of let's just say concern among the fans. One thing I did like about Andreyko's run is that he did introduce quite a few new villains, even though they were really only one-offs. Lamprey, the Green Fairy, a few of the other ones here that had kind of neat concepts, but they never really got much play. They were only in for about an issue or so, and they were gone again. And the ones that did get a lot of play, like Wolf Spider and Killshot, were not very memorable, I'll have to say. And the final volume, you might have noticed that they switched from hardcovers to softcovers for the last two, for Andreyko's run. The final volume deals with Batwoman teaming up with some other heroes / villains like Ragman, Clayface, and her sister Alice, who becomes Red Alice, to fight Morgan Le Fay. And again, there is some time jumps back and forth. It starts off in space, and then they come back to explain how they all got in space. But the Unknowns is basically a superhero, I guess, superhero team. And you know, they're up by, I think it was Georges Genty, I don't know if I pronounced it right. It was actually pretty good. At least I like it. And it was interesting to see Ragman again. I hadn't seen him in a while. But the story is kind of confusing and sadly not all that interesting. So I'm glad that the current Batwoman series has actually gotten away from the supernatural side of things. I just want to take a look at these because these affect the new series, the new Batwoman series, Detective Comics, which is where Batwoman had her first solo run. She's part of a team with Batman, Red Robin, Spoiler, Orphan, and Clayface again. And the first arc, Rise of the Batman, does focus a lot on Batwoman, because the whole point of the story here is that Batman's allies come under attack. And look at that page. That's pretty cool. It was written by James Tynion IV, I think I pronounced it right, with art by Eddie Barrows and Alvaro Martinez, plus a few others. But the villain basically tracks down Batman's allies and targets them because he wants to not take over Gotham necessarily, but he wants to protect it with his own soldiers. And of course this brings him into conflict with Batman and Batwoman, and if you've read the arc you know that it's a personal issue for Batwoman because the villain is closely connected to her and to her origins. And there's a little cover gallery here, not much in terms of special features though. And the second volume is the Victim Syndicate, and these are both under the DC Rebirth era. And again, a little bit of Kate Kane in here, mainly towards the back, which deals with the two-part Batwoman Begins storyline, which leads into her current series, which I've been reading digitally. I don't really have the physical copies, but I plan to get the trade of that as well. The Many Arms of Death, which I think is out in November, I believe. But yeah, it's like this is Batwoman Day, so I just thought I'd take a look at these and go through some of them in case anyone was interested in picking these up. Because most of her solo stories in the original one were kind of hit or miss, but so far James Tynion IV, which I think is his name, and Marguerite Bennett are writing the new Batwoman series, and it's a lot. In my opinion, it's a lot stronger series because it doesn't focus much on the supernatural stuff and just deals with Kate and so far Kate's origins. I'm sure they'll get more into her and more into her future as a Batwoman. And this is one of her new villains, Colony Prime. I think is will be appearing in Batwoman #7 in the new series. But if you're interested in looking into the new Batwoman series, you can go ahead and look through these trades. Pick them up at your nearest comic shop or online. You can I got most of mine through comic shops or the Detective Comics runs I got through Amazon. And check them out and celebrate Batwoman Day. If you want to look into picking it up, like for those who aren't aware, she was a soldier who was kicked out of West Point under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Because she was a lesbian, or she is a lesbian. She never stopped being a lesbian. But yeah, there's quite an extensive library on her so far, and more on the way. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have a particular Batwoman story or Batwoman moment that you really enjoy. And you know, go out and read some Batwoman comics today just to celebrate the anniversary of Batwoman's appearance in '52.